5 properties by 27. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee because I want to have a look at this article on news.com.au written by Alex Turner Cohen discussing, how a 27-year-old casual Woolworth worker or employee has a 5 property portfolio. So there you go. When I had my casual job at Woolies back in high school, I should have been buying property. What was I doing wrong? Because that's all you need, everyone. It's just that easy. Just a casual job. Now, of course, the editor's going to title it this way to draw people in because everyone's obsessed with getting property. It's a nightmare to get into property in Australia. It really is. Particularly for those of you that live in Sydney. Let's bring up the capital city averages here, everyone, just to make ourselves feel real good. And, what is it? What are we sitting at today? This week, all houses 1.1 million. Oh, 3-bedders. 3-bedders are at $1 million bucks. Awesome. The weekly average asking price, $1 million for a 3-bedroom house in Australia. So, cool. Perfectly normal. So let's have a look at this article because there's a takeaway here that I think is all the more important. And, good on the bloke who's managed to build up a portfolio of property. But don't feel bad when you see the method that he used to get to it. Good on him and good on his family. So a casual Woolworths employee has shared how he owns 5 homes at the age of 27 worth more than $1.5 million altogether while also traveling to 132 countries. Now that's probably the coolest thing. I hope he turned that into like a YouTube channel or what's the Instagram things, where they monetize that. So Douglas Lexkirk from New South Wales Central Coast managed to travel the world and also become a multi-property owner before his 28th birthday. I started with nothing, he told news.com.au. I have purchased 2 properties in the past 3 months and I'm a casual employee. Well, yeah, the banks love you because you're making all the money from your property, of course. I bet you don't even need to work to have it to get it. It probably just makes it easier for the broker filling out the forms. His property journey began when he was a high schooler and landed his first job at his local Woolworths. I got the job on my 15th birthday. It was $7.80 an hour, he recalled. I still have my first pay slip. I did an 8-hour shift and got like $64. Little did he know, but that job would enable him to buy his first property by the age of 22. From his first property, he was able to leverage his way to his second, all the way to his 5th home, which he settled last week. So he's used the equity growth in his property to go from one to the next. But he didn't do it all by himself. Okay, so don't kid yourself. So he studied a Bachelor of Teaching and Arts and was gunning to get a full-time job at a high school after he finished his degree in 2015. He'd been working at Woolies the entire time, for 7 years since he'd first started, as well as travelling. Around the same time, his neighbour's home in Erin went on the market. He described it as a game changer because his dad wanted to buy the place, but he was retiring, so he couldn't get a home loan. Father and son went to the bank to try to secure a loan for his father. There you go. So that's the secret. That's the opportunity. Loan officer had some unusual advice for the uni graduate. He told me, don't quit your job at Woolworths, get a full-time job there, he explained. So I went full-time there, worked full-time for 10 weeks, got over the line to get a loan to buy the home, and then went casual again. The 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house went for $280,000, and Mr. Laskirk paid a 10% deposit of $28,000 and his dad acting as guarantor on the loan. Straight away, he got a renter into the place. It is neutrally geared, so he isn't out of pocket for the mortgage repayments. He then decided to work casually as a teacher and also at Woolworths to make more money to save up for his next place. 2 years later, at the age of 24, he decided it was time to get another home to expand his portfolio. I tried to get a loan on my own, tried every avenue possible, every bank, every broker, he said. My first property had doubled in 2 years, but still no one would give me a loan. In the end, the only way was to pair up with his older sister to split the costs down the middle. His sister used the first home buyer's grant to nab a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house with a granny flat out on the back of the Central Coast suburb of Tumbi Umbi. It cost $435,000, with the sibling duo putting down 10% of that each. Their stamp duty fees were halved thanks to the government help. The property was originally negative geared, but they upped the rent, allowing them to continue with their lives without having to stress about paying off the mortgage. 2 years later, he decided to renovate his first property to bring in twice as much revenue from renters. I cut the Irna property in half, put a 2-bedroom, 1-bath granny flat in for a third stream of income, he explained. I get $460 a week return on that. That's positively geared. One of the joys of being a casual worker, he said, is that he's able to travel the world because he has endless holidays. He says he's been to 132 different countries, including more unusual places like Svalbard in Norway, Somali in Africa, East Timor, Kazakhstan, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Lebanon, all while buying multiple properties back home. I've always prioritized traveling. That's been number one, he said. As a result, when borders slammed shut, he raced back to Australia from Africa. Unable to go jet-setting around the world, he really knuckled down with working and saving. As a result, in the last 3 months, he's added 2 properties to his portfolio, bringing the total to 5. Wanting to diversify his stock, he looked further afield to Grafton, a town in New South Wales, Northern Rivers region. Using equity from his previous purchase, he secured a loan for $300,000, 4-bedroom, 1-bathroom home in the town south. As before, he got renters in as quickly as possible, and now the place is positively geared. He went even further afield and bought a property in an entirely different state. He'd been wanting to get a house in Tasmania's capital, Hobart, for a while, but was constantly missing out. Hobart is killing it. Hobart is absolutely killing it, he said. Yeah, he's right there. I wanted to buy in the market, but I couldn't get in, so I called so many people it's ridiculous. Keeping a weather eye on the property in the southern state, he found the perfect place and snapped it up after it had only been on the market for 8 hours. Now, this is where remember we were reading about interstate buyers buying sight unseen. I think this guy's an example of that. Someone buying sight unseen. Again, he used the equity on his other homes to get $380,000, 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom Hobart property. I combined everything together. That equals about $70,000 a year, he said. No matter what happens, I have to pay $70,000 in bills. In income, I make $96,000, so I'm making $26,000 extra. He had a word of advice for aspiring homeowners. I'm still living at home now, in my dad's garage. That's the secret, guys. That's the key to building wealth. Until I get that passive income, he admitted. I find it devastating to think people are complaining how difficult it is to buy into today's market. For young people out there, anything is possible. Let's have a talk about this one, guys. So, I mean, okay, good on him. Good on him. He's got some property. He's building a portfolio. But he did it with his dad's help. He's still living at home. And the second one he did with his sister's help. So he's riding up the market. I mean, that's family coming together. That's a good thing. Okay, from that we can see it as a positive. You want to look at building intergenerational wealth with your family from one generation to the next. Maybe that's something that really isn't emphasized enough in Australian culture. You've got all the criticisms of, the bank of mum and dad, the third or second biggest bank, lending money to help their family get into property. But, I mean, you want to take care of your kids. You need to pass it on to the next one. You all want to work together to build something. That's the real takeaway from this piece. I mean, I wonder if the article would have been the same if the property had collapsed. Would he have complained about, the mortgage broker gave me dodgy advice to pretend I had a full-time job when I didn't? Maybe. I mean, that's the type of stuff that happens. But the takeaway here is you got to work together as a family to get ahead. That's what it is. The fact that he's a casual Woolies worker, that's just to draw people into the article. I mean, good on him. He's doing it. But not everyone can live at home with their dad in the garage while they're building a property portfolio. So he has his property portfolio and he's used the equity from one house of it to jump into another and another. What happens if the property market corrects? Well, let's have a look at this video here. House prices will grow to 22%. This is the latest estimates that are coming out by some of the banks. RBA was modeling a 40% decline. That didn't happen. Everyone is now talking about the market going up. Remember, everyone, property is Aussie gold. Take care. I'll see you later.